So today I'm going to show you how I went from this unfinished soffit to this great looking tongue and groove soffit, which is going to give my cabin a really nice and high-end look. So alright, let's get into it.
Parfait.
I plan on using white pine tongue and groove for the soffit, and the best practice is to stain it on both sides before applying it. As you can imagine, working by myself with 16-foot long board was less than easy.
Oh là là! This is not going to be easy. Oh! Patience qu'il faut avec ces trucs.
Let's talk about today's sponsor, Bluetti. They have provided me with their latest battery, the AC180. It has an output of 1800 watt, a capacity of 1152 watt hour, and a wide range of output connectivity such as USB-A, USB-C, 4 AC outlets, 12 volt DC outlets, and even built-in wireless charging on top of the unit. The Bluetti is only 35 pounds and can easily be carried around to where you will need it. I started using it for my basic charging need while building my cabin, such as charging my speakers, my phone, my drone, my cameras. It's also been very useful to charge the multiple batteries of my DeWalt power tools, as I usually go through several batteries a day. I also used it to power some LED lights in the cabin, as it can get pretty dark in there. What I like the most is that you can easily see how much output the Bluetti AC180 is producing, about 100 watt here with my two LED lights, and it also tells you how long you have left before it runs out. Here about 7.5 hours based on the 80% charge I have left. I had no doubt that this unit would excel when it came to charging and running small equipment, but do you think it would be strong enough to run my Metabo compressor and nail guns? Well, stay tuned and we will have a little experiment later in this video to find out about this. So here's another little trick you got to come up with when you're working alone.
Okay, come on. Absolutely impossible by myself. How am I gonna outsmelt this thing? Okay, I have an idea. I think we might be getting somewhere. Allez! Yes! Yes! It's gonna work! There's always a solution, usually.
So for the next bolt, we actually have to remove the groove to butt directly against the vent.
Allez! Putain! J'en ai marre. Qu'est-ce que j'en ai marre. Bam! Allez! So everything is looking pretty well. I'm really happy with the result. Let's see now, there's this like 1.5 inch gap that I need to figure out. I need to just take care of this that's in the way. Nice.
So for the other side of the cabin, which is actually 6 foot taller, I was so worried about it. How in the world was I going to be able to get this done alone? But impressively enough, because I had developed all my tips and tricks on that first side, the high side actually went a lot smoother than I had imagined. The main challenge was just to constantly go up and down the ladder and making sure to secure it properly and obviously not to fall and break a leg. But I mean, honestly, other than that, it was really not that bad and it went faster than I thought.
Oh, I mean, this is looking pretty good to me. Okay, well, you get the idea.
So this was probably my favorite pound because I only had to deal with 17 inches long pieces of tongue and groove, which was refreshing after wrestling 16 footers for the side soffits. I would typically cut 4 or 5 at a time and nail them in place. It was very satisfying as you could really see the final look built up pretty fast. The only challenge I ran into is that some 2x6 outriggers were maybe a quarter of an inch lower than the fascia bolt, so I just had to cut them down with the oscillating tool, but that was pretty easy.
So here's what I ended up doing. I took a piece of scrap, I removed half of the tongue here so that this would be able to cover the piece of tongue and groove up there. And then I wanted to do the same thing on the other side so that I would have some coverage. You know, I didn't use anything fancy. I actually managed to do this little notch just with the circular saw. So let's try it out and see how well it fits. Ha! That looks absolutely awesome. Oh, wow. That's so cool. So now the bad news is that I have to put another second layer of stain on all those soffit I just did. Ugh, that is not something I'm looking forward to.
While you see me putting that second layer of stain on, have you ever wondered how much I have spent so far on this cabin, money-wise and time-wise? If you would like to know, I do send a monthly newsletter out with a budget breakdown and the number of hours I have spent on this cabin project. Just go to my website, enter your email, you will receive the free cabin plans, but you will also automatically be added to my mailing list and you will start receiving the newsletter. You're welcome. So there's still something that's bugging me. You see that little space up there? I really want to do something about it. Let's do that experiment, shall we? Let's say you were working off the grid. Would it be sustainable to use this battery as a way to run your nail guns through a compressor? I started with a fully charged Bluetti and my compressor was completely empty, so I knew it had to fill up all the way to 200 psi. Impressively enough, the Bluetti has enough power to run the compressor, which in itself was pretty impressive. Now if you look at the numbers on the screen, you will see that the compressor is pulling a staggering 1600 watt. That is 16 times more than what my two LEDs lights were pulling earlier. It was draining the battery pretty fast. You could literally see the percentages just dropping one at a time, but it was still handling it. So there it was. It took 30% of the battery to fill up the compressor. The good thing now is that the compressor will only cycle here and there as you're using your nail gun. So I did a little experiment. I shot as many nails as possible to get the compressor to cycle, and I timed how long it would take to cycle, which was about 30 seconds. Based on the info from the screen, I knew that the battery could run for about 45 minutes if it was fully charged at that specific wattage. Since the cycle is 30 seconds, that means you could do 90 cycling on the full battery. I then counted the nails I was able to shoot, which was 18. So let's assume that your compressor was already full and that you had a 100% charged Bluetti. You could theoretically shoot 1620 nails on one charge, so that's not bad at all. I mean, I would say that this test was definitely a success. I was pretty impressed. I mean, another very important thing to consider is that the Bluetti can actually charge with an input up to 1440 watt, which means that you can more or less fully charge the AC180 from 0 to 100% in about an hour, which to me is completely mind-blowing. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to work off-grid, this battery could be well worth it. And you know, they even make bigger capacities if you think that this one would not be enough for your special needs. So thank you Bluetti for sponsoring this video, and check out the link in the description if you want to learn more about this product. So here it is. I am blown away by the final result. I think that it looks amazing. It's really going to set the tone for the cabin, and I cannot believe that I was able to do it all by myself. I mean, to be honest, what a nice feeling of accomplishment to get this step done. In the next episode, I will tackle installing the trim at the corners as well as around the windows, so definitely go ahead and check that out. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate you, and I'll see you later.